Let's talk about Warframe, the old piece. Today we're doing a review, going over the update, as it has now officially seemingly been their most successful update as of 2025. So in their entire 13 years or so of Warframing, it is their most successful update. So, congratulations to Digital Extremes. The first and probably most important thing in the old piece when you start playing the update is the quest, of course, right? It is about, I'd say, an hour and 15, hour and a half minute quest, depending on how fast you are. Maybe if you're like a little slower, you really take your time to look at everything. Maybe it would take 2 hours, but I think I got it done in about an hour and 15 minutes. And overall, the entire quest was really good. It is a lovely set piece to the past of Warframe, and it gives you way more context and just general information on what happened and what went down with the shenanigans of Warframe, Tau, etc. All things considered, it doesn't move the main story forward a ton, but it gives you more so a lot of background information on characters while also adding some characters and giving some more information as to why they might be so evil, what's going on with Ballast, what's going on with Lotus, right? Things happen. But I would say it was a really good, really fun, really awesome quest, but it wasn't like the biggest quest or anything, which is, I think so far, everyone's biggest complaint with the update from what I've seen online. People just want more Warframe. They want a longer quest. They want more information. They want more gameplay, they want bigger tile sets, right? They want more missions, not just Descendia and Perita Rebellion, so that's always pretty normal. The biggest issue with the update is people want more, and I think that's a good thing, right? But if only Warframe could give us more. If only we could get Excalibur Prime back, am I right? If only. But it was a really good quest, okay? I love Warframe main story quests where it's just a lot of lore and information on characters because, again, technically, it was the setup for Tau 2026. We need to find out what happened in the past of Tau, what went down there with everyone, What did the operator face in the past that you've forgotten? That has now become what you are going to go back to, which is just the ruined land of Tau after, the war. The war of frames, as I will call it. As this is the warest, framest game there is. So, it was a great quest. I loved the characters. The new characters were cool. The throwback to old characters and everything there was cool. I loved Damar. That was an awesome little throwback there for a minute. So, I'm happy. I think they did a good job. I think the quest did a good job to bring a lot of players back into the game, and the update just did a great job at that. Warframe also threw out the most promotion I've ever seen for this update, so it was their quite obviously planned biggest update ever. With the big Iron Mouse concert, there was 2 trailers at Game Awards, one for Warframe, a brand new trailer, and one for Soulframe, spooky jump scare. So it was all planned and definitely on purpose from Warframe side. They wanted this to be a pop and update with a really cool quest, really big cinematic set pieces with the big boss, right? The massive new Tectalist artifact ultimate. So they were going out of their way to hype up and bring up this update with this quest. And I think they did a good job. Obviously, the only rough part is that it takes you 100 hours to get to this quest. So if you're a brand new player, it's going to be a little rough to get to this point in the game, and you might have no idea what's even going on. So it's a great update, but again, it's not a new player-friendly update. It is an end-game story update. Look at your boy right there. Lovely. So the quest was good. I would rate it a solid 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, if you will. Around there. Obviously, it wasn't perfect, but it was pretty great. We could have spent more time in the quest. The worst part is I can't re-walk this relay. There's no way to re-walk this relay. There's not, I think, a Captura scene for this relay. They didn't make it a cool relay area you could go to in the past of Tau. I know, it sucks. So wasted potential there. That's why I'm saying, it's a solid 9, 8 out of 10. It'll be really cool once we can replay this quest because, my God, I love this quest. So Good job. Now, I did want to bring up again the new all-time player high count. They actually hit all-time high players in more ways than one. So their previous and current number one all-time peak player count, I think, was back in 2021 because it was a TennoCon relay where people got free loot. There was a lot of things like that. So there was the incentive to jump into the game. Whereas this time they hit a peak of 170 something thousand instead of like 181,000. So this is technically their second highest all-time peak player count, but it is their number one all-time peak player count without an in-game free reward drop, no TennoCon, nothing like that, just a major Warframe update. So it is their all-time peak player count for a major Warframe update, like a mainline update. This is without a doubt their most popular, maybe not necessarily biggest update yet, but it is without a doubt their most popular update. We've seen big content creators from Ironmouse do song collabs playing the game with Marco Meatball. I've seen a ton of people who've been playing the game for years on and off come back to the update, bringing in more new players to try the update. As funny as it is, a lot of Destiny players have been jumping ship from Destiny and trying out Warframe. Some of them like it, some of them don't like it, and a lot of them are sticking to it and trying out the game. So that's definitely helping player numbers. Look how awkward my operator looks with her lips like pursed up. Very weird, new update. But all things considered, like, they hit new time, all-time player highs. Warframe in 2025 of December, spooky, I am Daklo, will be the highest average player count they have had for the month of December 2025 of all time, previously being the Fortuna launch in 2018. This means that even if this isn't like their biggest Warframe update with, you know, necessarily the most content, it is their most popular update, and people are sticking with the update for an extended period of time. So again, congratulations to Warframe to make one of the biggest, most popular updates that their game has ever had 13 years down the line. And to us that have stuck with the game for so freaking long, good job, we still love it. I still take big breaks from the game, okay? 10 years I've been playing about of Warframe on and off, okay? Obviously I take big breaks. The game's huge, but everything gets boring if you do it for thousands of hours. So just remember that, stay safe, don't go insane only playing Warframe, but good on Warframe for making such a good update that everyone seems to love. So let me know what you're thinking of the update so far. As always, like the video, comment down below to support the channel. You can use Epic Games creator code Pupsker, subscribe, and just check out the other socials, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, you know, all that jazz. With this brand new update, we got obviously a handful of new game modes. Sadly, only 2 new game modes, which I feel like we're always expecting through mainline updates, much more new game modes, but they are pretty big game modes. First off being the Descendia game mode. It is a new weekly tower that you go down, 21 floors. It has Roth as the final boss, okay? Each week it's randomized both rewards and randomized floors with kind of debuffs and buffs to them. So the Penance, Manic Mania, for example, that is the debuff, if you will. A lot of manics, that's the whole idea. So it can be a fun and interesting and weird game mode. It is a weekly that you can also naturally farm constantly to acquire loot to buy from the shops. And overall, I do think it's a good game mode. The weekly kind of RNG of it does make it so that drops are all over the place. Week 1 on Descendia, you get twice as much Mafika and maybe even like 3 times as much as you would in week 2. So it's not a perfect game mode. It has some issues. It's a little bit weird, but it is really fun and I do enjoy it. The randomness of Warframe game modes, I think they've realized with Duviri and like a lot of their other more RNG based stuff, people like weekly rotating random game modes, EDA, ETA, people enjoy that right now, right? And with that, people are enjoying Descendia. Since it does give good loot, and even if you've played through the missions fully and you've gotten the weekly loot, you can still keep farming it for the Warframe drops, the weapon drops, and even if you're done all that, you can still farm it for Ignia and Mafika, which you can in turn buy loot and or turn into Vosper from buying arcane packs. So it's actually a really good Vosper arcane shop farm, which is, you know, a little unexpected. So I would say overall, it's a really nice game mode. The random RNG of the different missions, it's nice because you get the coolest tile set and you get to play kind of fast at different missions. So I do like it. I enjoy it. It's like a nice little sweet treat each little floor. They're not 5-10 minute game modes. No, no, no. Each floor will take like a couple minutes or so. 21 floors in total. Yeah, week one, maybe it took me like 30 to 45 minutes. I think 40 or so maybe is about more average to finish the entire Descendia. But again, 21 floors, each one taking about like a minute or two. Yeah, that's to be expected that it'll take a little bit of time to actually go through it. So you can jump on at little intervals, 7 and 14, and you can also get weekly buffs from those intervals at 7 and 14. So you get buffs and you get some debuffs, you get a bunch of loot like arcanes. It's a good game mode. I enjoyed my time farming it. Not really the longest of farms, other than if you really want to get those cosmetic Captura scenes, because there's a lot of floors and there's a lot to grind, but a lot of it is like more cosmetic or optional, so yeah, not too bad. You take your good with your bad. It's a good game mode. I like it, and I'm pretty much done the major farm of it. I'll do it weekly, get some of those Captura scenes, and then enjoy my time. Those are like an example of some of the weekly buffs that you get on the floors, so choose whichever ones you like. That was, I think, week one. We got pretty good buffs and a lot of loot, so it was very nice. Either way, let me know what you think of the Descendia. On to the next topic. I think I really enjoy the Perita Rebellion, and I think other people are enjoying it too. If you don't know what the Perita Rebellion is, it is essentially kind of like the open world Tau game mode in a sense. It is a 12-minute timer where you have 12 minutes to do as many bounty objectives essentially until the boss spawns. And there are 3 different bosses: Hunlist, Dactylist, or the Prime Vanguard. Drop different loot for different items. You get the brand new Tectilist artifact, which are the ultimate abilities of your operator essentially, and the new focus tree upgrade, increase, new focus tree arcanes and amps essentially that you equipped onto the Tactilist artifact. So this is the new huge game mode to farm up a lot of beautiful focus upgrades, and it is a lot of fun. I like it because of the randomness of how many different bounty objectives there are. It's not a true open world or anything, and it's not like a cookie cutter open world and bounties, but it's an open world light where you just get thrown random bounty objectives, collect loot, and fight enemies. And I do like that, okay? The new Tectilist artifacts make your operator a lot stronger, especially with those new amp arcanes. So or arcanes and mods, right? So they do way more damage. You don't have to focus as much on using the focus tree that increases your damage a lot, because now you have amps and a couple arcanes here and there, depending on what you use, that'll increase your damage. So this will make Eidolons even easier for a lot of people, but Eidolons have already been kind of like beaten into the ground min-max, so who even cares at this point, am I right? Either way, it's a good update and a good game mode. The bosses at the end are fun, even though at some point they kind of turn into like just bullet sponge. I'm using either my multi-shot build with my dual Tox Assist or dual Torx Assist in Karnan. You know, the dual Tox Assist, yeah. Or I'm using my headshot build. I'm jumping between it because I like using both builds, and it's pretty easy to kill the boss if you're doing high red crit headshot damage anyways, or high red crit multi-shot damage. So either way, the dual Tox Assist in Karnan, right? High damage, destroys bosses, would recommend, because the bosses in this are pretty tanky. You do need to make sure you have a good build going into it. If you have a rough build and you're doing Steel Path, you'll probably have to rely on teammates. And the only one that's really hard, I would say, is Prime Vanguard if you don't have a good build, because all of the different Prime Warframes end up buffing each other, and then the buffs stack, and then they have a lot of damage reduction and damage increases, and then they're hard to kill. So, you know, things like that. But other than that, it's really not that big of a deal. Just make sure you're building a strong weapon to clear bosses, and make sure you have a, you know, good build to kill enemies, and then you're good. You just need to make sure you can do a boss and clear ads, and you're good, right? Usual Warframe stuff. Just make sure you're prepared and have one weapon though for a boss, because guess what? If you're only doing AoE damage and you're not really hurting the boss, you're just kind of tickling it, yeah, that boss fight might take a while at the end. But either way, the Perita Rebellion as an overall game mode is pretty great. I've been enjoying it a lot, and it's kind of, since the Blood of Perita event is out, it's kind of the only thing we've been running for the past week or so. So yeah, no, I'm slowly getting burnt out of it. I think once I finish all my Tectilist artifact farm, I'm gonna take like a little bit of a break from farming the new game modes and then just farm out videos and make like my top 5, top 10 Warframe weapon type lists, just going over weapons and Warframes that I like and enjoy and that I think are really strong still. So, you know, normal stuff there. Just because it's tough playing a mission for like 50, 40 hours, okay? It starts to get a little boring, okay? No matter what you do, it'll get a little sleepy. And I really am enjoying using the new Wisp and the new Roth proto frames, so I'm kind of only using them, probably not helping, but they just kill and boost so well. Either way, the Perita Rebellion game mode, magnificent. I really enjoy it. Good stuff. I did also want to talk about the new music soundtrack, which is playing in the background if you can hear it. It's obviously playing very quietly, but still, the new music slaps, okay? I love Warframe's orchestral music. I love all the instruments used, you know, the background singing of like the Lullaby of the Manifold. Yeah, I'm a huge fan, you know? It's good music to play in the background. When Warframe in 1999 came out, I found out that that music playlist made my like top 5 music I guess albums and artists, and it somehow made 4 out of the top 5 of my most favorite artists and albums. I don't know why, because it's like, you know, really buggy, right? But yeah, good for Warframe. The 1999 soundtrack was 4 out of the 5 of my top artists, and you know, if I play a lot of Perita Rebellion, I feel like it's going to be the same. I've just been listening to the soundtrack nonstop in Mission. Hell, I just might as well start putting it on my Google Play playlist as well and just rocking out to it in the background while I'm doing dishes and showering and stuff. Because, like, it's good background music, man. I always love when games have really epic, really deep sounding, like really more orchestral, you know, soundtracks. I love OST. Just, you know, those OSTs are really good. There's nothing hyper specific I can say about it, okay? I don't have a great musical background or anything. I just fucking love it. I loved Warframe 1999 because it was more like hardcore metal and it was more deep that way. And then this one, it's more like calm, but it's, you know, it's like, it's a calm but more epic soundtrack for a battlefield, depending on what musical, like which song you're listening to, right? Which musical track you're actually on. So all in all, 10 out of 10. I really did enjoy the music. I truly can't say too much about it because I just, you know, I just like how it sounds, okay? You hear it in the background, it makes me smile, good stuff. So good soundtrack, gotta love it. Oh man, let's talk about Uriel Proto Frame Roth, the brand new Warframe, the last really big thing I wanted to hit on this update. And let me tell you, Roth's awesome. Like, dude fucking slaps. Uriel does so much AoE fire damage. I love flying around the map. It's really nice having an invincibility heal on your second ability. And I would still throw cast speed on because his abilities take a little bit too long to cast. But other than that, like, he's a great Warframe. He has the whole kit and caboodle. AoE damage nukes with his 4. He has damage vulnerability, like damage status, damage increase really, on his third ability. His passives are just straight up summons that fuck with the enemies and give you huge boosts. And his first ability is just a nice fire and flying ability. So it's like, he's got mobility as well. Dear God, he's awesome. I just think his entire kit works really well. It's like a little bit of a kit from everyone's kit, right? His first ability works very similarly to Wukong's Cloud or Zephyr's Fly ability, and it's really great. His second ability is like a full heal, full shield, works very similarly to, I don't know, maybe like a full Trinity heal, or maybe similarly to Wisp's second ability, full invincibility. It's so great, right? Third ability is awesome too, because it gives damage vulnerability to the enemies. And I think your passive, dude, gives you like fire rate and fire damage increase on your weapons. So the amount of boosts you get from this goddamn kit is huge. Obviously, a lot of those boosts, like the numbers aren't huge. I think it's like 30% increase to fire rate and 30% increase to fire damage at level or like base, but then you get a lot of strength and that's such a huge boost. So yeah, and then your fourth ability is just Ember, but better now. You know, old Ember World on Fire, you know, huge old Ember AoE. You just nuke everything. It is even better than old Ember. It's stronger, more damaging AoE fire. You can throw a ton of range on it and it'll nuke clear the entire room and then some. So you start spawn camping enemies a little bit. God damn it, dude. I love it. Mwah. It just works so well. I've been playing him a ton with the new Wisp proto frame, pretty much exclusively for the past 40, 50 hours of this update, or however much we've been playing and grinding. So, you know, I've put in a little bit of time. I've put in a little bit of time, and I must say, no matter how you build Uriel, he's an amazing Warframe. You don't need to helmet anything off, and even if you do helmet anything, I don't even know like which you'd want. Honestly, probably maybe his like third ability. No, they all seem too good, so I wouldn't even want to helmet anything off. I love his base kit. I love using all of the fire to kill everyone, and since he has both invincibility, damage boosting, weapon boosting, fire everywhere, he's just kind of the whole thing. So he's an S tier Warframe in my books for playability and fun. You don't necessarily need to build survivability unless you're playing solo or doing extra style content like 9999, where, hey, maybe you do have to build a little extra, but base steel path, even without mods, he'd probably shred and kill everything. So he's just such a powerhouse. I gotta say, I love Uriel, so 10 out of 10. He's just so good. Okay, let's get the overall wrap up of this update gone. It is a great update. I loved it. It is the best Warframe update as of the release of the game, but it might not be the biggest update. It's not a massive open world. It's essentially 2 massive missions and then quality of life / side content with Warframes and weapons. But you have the weekly mission, which is Descendia, which is like their new weekly, farm the Descendia every week, get some loot, but it doesn't bring anything amazing to the table outside of like the weekly certain amp, maybe arcanes that you'll get, right? Smaller things. So it doesn't bring like high tier Archon shards every time. You'll get maybe like a blue or a random one-off Archon shard, but it's a good weekly, but it's not an insane weekly. So I'm saying they haven't really added a god tier new like Akrathis shop, but they did add the weekly farm, and there is some loot to get. It's a fun game mode overall. The shop from Roth is good, right? I love it. Same with Perita Rebellion. It's not a weekly, it's just the general game mode. The Tectilist artifacts are a huge grind, and I'm actually kind of okay with that, because Warframe kind of realized, since they only have 2 game modes, even though they are big game modes, they need something for people to chase, and those are the Tectilist artifacts. I feel like for a lot of people, it will take you weeks, if not months, to farm up all 5 Tectilist artifacts, just because of how many tens of hours it'll take you. So I get why Warframe added the chase. This update just wasn't their biggest per se. It might have been like one of their biggest still on the scale of it. It's just like from the player's perspective, the amount of activities and things, game modes, right, different areas, it seems lower, right? But obviously it's still big. That's just like the #1 major concern and complaint I've heard from players. So I guess it's always good when Warframe players and people playing your game, the complaint is, again, they just want more of the game. I've been having a lot of fun, but I'm essentially done most of the big farms outside of Tectilist artifacts and Captura scenes. I still have to farm Gyre Prime and her weapons, but those are secondary for me because I'm just not a Gyre player, right? Gyre, meh. Either way, it's a great update. Warframe's killing it, and I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope everyone else is also having a lot of fun. We'll get some fun videos out, tier list, but That's it for the old piece. Let me know what you think of the update, everybody. Go check out any of the guides, videos, reviews, or anything on the update. I think I probably have like 10 to 20 almost videos going over, you know, events, shops, update stuff, etc., etc. Just because it was a pretty busy time, and it has been like 2 weeks since the update came out. Sorry, English is hard. Either way, thank you all so much for watching, subbing, liking. Epic Games creator code Pupsker if you ever want to support the channel. But, you know, we're just going to chill now, make regular old videos, stream on Twitch. Maybe we'll do 24/7 streams when we get back into it. Maybe we won't. I'm not too sure. Maybe we will some days. Maybe we'll run reruns. Maybe other days we won't. Yeah, I'm a little undecided. But either way, thank you all so much for joining me on this momentous occasion for the lovely old piece update. Cheers.